Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson,
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Jeff.
and this week we kick off a holiday within a holiday month, quite frankly.
Oof, big.
Like
Wow.
October. It's a big month to begin with. The greatest month of the year, some would say, some being
I
me.
would say I agree.
See? It's getting cooler. The leaves are falling.
They're following the cold air down to the ground.
Down
So
to the
true.
Hot air rises. And that's science.
And 35 years ago, I was born. A gift to the world.
Yay!
Yay!
And do you want to know what this gift loves?
What?
Clowns.
Clowns.
I thought clowns might be the answer.
Clowns.
I was
So-
guessing, I was thinking, but I was like, I think it's clowns.
So, I am here to announce that we are here to kick off Spooky Tuesdays Sydney Palooza. What is it? Clown Tues Weeks?
Clowntober
Clowntober
Tuesdays.
Clowntober
calling
Tues
it.
Weeks.
I love consistent
No, I
branding.
think this is it. This is it. This is it. I'm sorry. Sydney Palooza presents Clowntober Tuesday.
Clowntober
Mm.
Tuesday. That's it.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, okay.
I like a Sydney Palooza presents. This is a co-pro between Spooky Tuesday and Sydney Palooza. And
A
there's
holiday within a holiday.
It's crazy the brand power that is behind this collaboration. It is truly just what the numbers, they're going up, up, up. That's all I can say. It's
Wow.
astronomical.
You should see
Well-
the charts that we have in our offices.
All the charts.
So many charts.
So before everybody knows, one of my favorite clown movies is the 1990 miniseries It.
Which we did for a previous Sydney Palooza.
We did for our previous City Palooza. So what a way to do maybe a semi spooky Take Tuesday, but different with It 2017 or It Part 1.
Chapter
Wow.
1. I've been calling it Part 1 this whole time, and then I just watched the end credits like 10 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, fuck.
I don't
Yes.
care. Everybody knows.
They just call it, and then the second one, they're like, okay, chapter 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the superior of the two. So I'm glad this is the one that we're covering. Do not
It
hold
is.
your breath waiting for chapter 2 because I
Yeah, we're
doubt
not doing it
it will
next week.
ever
Don't
come.
worry. We're not
It's
doing it
a
next
different
week.
part of Clowntober Tuesdays
Yeah.
next week.
Okay, so if
And
you
you'll have
haven't
to wait and
seen
see.
any of the It series whatsoever, according to IMDb, in the summer of 1989, a group of bullied kids band together to destroy a shape-shifting monster which disguises itself as a clown and preys on the children of Derry, their small Maine town.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing.
I love it. Go.
This movie is so great because not only do I love clowns, I also love the state of Maine.
Oh,
So,
me
like,
too.
Maine is one of my favorite states in the union. And we get Bill Skarsgård. I don't know about y'all, but as
Uh-huh.
a small child, when I watched it, the miniseries, I was very sexually attracted to Tim Curry as
Well,
Pennywise.
of course.
And
He's-
now,
he
as
makes
an
any
adult,
role
He
horny.
is Tim Curry
He
still.
does.
Yeah.
He,
like, and-
he steals the show.
so now as an adult, oh no, it's Bill Skarsgård as a
The
as
sexiest
the
man
same
alive.
clown, and it really gets me going. I don't know
And I'm happy. for you,
whoever plays this role
Queen.
next. Maybe in my twilight years, it'll continue to get me going.
Yeah. When they
I'm
do
sure that it
the
will because your
next
When
brand
they
is
reboot
strong.
this in 27 years,
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, they're already the reason that this is extra timely is because Spooky Tuesday is always on time. We're on God's time, and by God I mean the spooky God, not the real one. I don't know who the fuck that is, but we have cosmic timing, and Sydney wanted to do this for fucking months, literally
She's been
since we
pitching
did Clown in the
Clowntober Tuesdays for
Yeah.
cornfield.
so long. I've
Excuse
been
me.
covering my eyes and looking away.
I misspoke. It's actually called Corn in a Clown Field, so
Corn
sorry
in a
about
Clown
that. I
Field.
misspoke.
People
But
got confused for a second there. They were like, "What's clown in a
I
cornfield?
know.
I've never heard of it."
I know, I know. I corrected myself. I'm sorry. I commit when I'm wrong.
Thank
But
God.
we were right at this moment because fucking Welcome to Derry comes out like now. Is it this week on HBO? I'm gonna look it up.
Is it the 26th? So is it
Well, it
next
should be
week?
sooner
Yeah.
than that. Girl, I saw one of those fucking Coco robots that brings your
Ugh.
food around. One of those almost killed my friend Jess yesterday, by the way. She was on her
Oh my
bike
God.
and the Coco robot almost hit her. So interesting. But I saw one today that had something like red above it. And I was like, what the fuck is that? It was an Welcome to Dairy branded Coco robot that had a little red balloon on it.
Hate that.
Spooky.
Oh, you're right. It is the 26th. God damn it. We have to wait so long. And I also don't have HBO anymore. So we'll see if I even watch it. But anyway, this is to
Where
get
there's a
you
will, there's a
hyped.
way.
And Bill Skarsgård is reprising his role in that.
Is
Don't
he-
you worry your
wow.
pretty little head.
I don't
Yeah.
think I knew that.
Thank God.
That makes sense
Thank
though, because otherwise
God.
I feel like I would have heard about who would be playing Pennywise.
And also
And-
too, it's so close to when these came out. I feel like he
It's
is
still the
so
same
known
era.
for it now.
Yeah, it's the same era. Yeah, and I always want more because he is great in this role. The one I love this movie so much. It was such a great time to rewatch this movie. Just like I don't know, the kids. I'll get into how I love the kids. The fucking kids in this are just amazing. I love Bill Skarsgård. I wish that like the only thing I would change is that I wish this movie wasn't so CGI focused with the horror. But
Mm.
it's really that style of horror movie that it would be a completely different movie if they did practical effects. Like everything they do hinges on the CGI, because they're doing
Yeah.
like wild, crazy things. Because I just feel like I am attracted to Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise because he is. You can tell it's him when they
Mhm.
focus on him long enough. But they're going like rah, rah, stretching his face all these fucking different directions. That like I feel like I lose some of his performance. Not that he's not bringing his A game, but like I wish I could just like see what he was doing. Before they, stretched his face and opened his jaw, that opened his whole head open and stuff like that, because he is just such a sinister looking individual, incredibly sexy fire, don't get me wrong, but he's got that spooky Eastern European sunken eye thing going for him.
It's
Um,
Scandinavian.
Eastern
that
European
in
is
the
the
east of-
same thing.
That's no, that's Northern Europe.
Oh, really? Oh,
Geography.
fuck.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up
Okay.
maps.com.
Scandinavian map. I'm
Yeah,
looking
that's
it
like
up.
Northern Europe.
Maps.com, by the way, not what you want.
Okay. It is northern, but Poland's right there. And Adam is Polish and he's Eastern European. And many people have told me that he looks like Bill Skarsgård. So, yes, I am standing over here winning. Don't worry about it. It's true. Look at his eye. Look at his face next to his face. I've done this for you before and you agreed. And it's fine that you're disagreeing now, but you'll remember. But anyway, I just wish I could have seen more of his face doing the spooky things because they put him in 5 hours worth of fucking effects makeup to
For
do
him
this.
to only have like 4 minutes of speaking lines in this entire movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to speak, though. He can just be there going. I think the listeners could tell what that was, by the way. I think they could sense it.
One of the things that I think I like more about than like Tim Curry's portrayal
Mhm.
is that like Bill Skarsgård plays this like really sinister at all times, and Tim Curry was like would play it sometimes as like a I'm a clown, like, and it's
Mhm.
really obvious in the Georgie scene where like Tim Curry is, hiya Georgie, like how are you doing? And Bill is just immediately instant from the jump. Like if I was a
Yeah.
child, I would not have stayed to have a single conversation with Bill where I would have had one with Timmy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like you can tell that Georgie is unsure at first and then does get sort of slowly won over, but then you can also tell there's that moment where like he suddenly something is wrong. He's like something's off now. Now I'm scared. I can tell that something here is really not right.
yeah. That opening is just so fucking good. I forgot
Cuz
how
he's
good it
so
was.
cute.
Ugh, I
I
remember when I
know,
saw
Georgie's so
this,
sweet.
such a cutie. I remember when I saw this opening weekend, and we didn't know how gory it would be, what kind style of horror movie it would be. Obviously, we saw the trailer, but whatever. And when it just like fucking rips his arm like off like that in moment one, you're like, oh, this is gonna be
Oh,
like a
okay. This
no
is different.
holds barred. Like the kids are gonna get fucked the fuck up, and it sets the tone. It's just like, just so you know, buckle up, bitch. And even in that moment, I was immediately relieved because I already felt more calm than I felt the entire time watching Mother, which is the movie I had watched just before that in my double feature. So again, this is a comfort film for me. But
Just because you said that, I'd like you to know that one of the actors in the new It Welcome to Derry show was in Mother. I don't know how significant of a role because, as we know, there were primarily 4 actors in that movie. But I was being like, "Who's in that show?" And one of them, it was like his work in Mother, blah blah blah.
I'm
So just so you
don't
know,
dissuade me from watching it. Welcome to Derry.
some
I
people can be in the background of Mother and then go on to do great work. It's fine.
yeah. I still love Jennifer Lawrence, so whatever. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
What are y'all's thoughts about this movie being like not aged up, but like set? Because the original one is set in the 50s and this one is set like in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Again, very fun fact. Like like it takes place in 1989 and then it comes out in 2017, but like the original movie was like 90 and they started filming in 2016 and that's exactly 27 years later.
Whoa. Somebody planned that
Well,
really well. Somebody
love.
24 years after that came out went, "Wait, you guys, I have an idea. We need to get started
What
now."
if?
What was what did I just Oh, no, I saw West Side Story last night, and the play and the movie, the remake came out like exactly 40 years after the original. Not the same thing. Sorry. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Same
I'm sorry I brought it
universe.
up. Oh,
Rachel
okay,
Zegler
yeah.
here gave an incredible performance.
I want to watch it now. Um
It's not bad.
okay,
I
you're
hear
right.
everybody
It
says it's
is
great.
the 50s. I haven't watched the 90s one in so long. I forgot it was set in the 50s,
Yeah,
which
I
is
would have
stupid
said the
because
60s,
I
but
read
that
the
makes
book.
sense with the math.
Yeah.
Well, then what the fuck is the show set in? Is the show like what the hell? Is the show like treading fully new ground? Because I thought the show was set Welcome to Derry was set in the 50s.
I mean, it
Fuck.
might be.
So
It
they're
easily
just
could
like
be. And
they're rewriting history. That's fine. That's okay.
1962.
They already rewrote history. This is a continuation of this movie, so it's okay.
So
I'm
it's a
allowing it.
lead up to the first movie.
Yeah. It's like the last time that he was there.
The
So it's like
27 years.
27 years
Yeah.
before 1989. Okay. I'll allow it. That's fine. Everything's fine now. I got a little freaked out for a second, but I'm right back and it's fine. I love when things are set in the 50s.
I think they should have said it in 54 years from 2017 or whenever the second one came out, and then we could have futuristic designs and come up with new
Right.
fashion
Wow.
trend. Yeah. They're in space
Okay.
now.
It should be
No.
like Jason X, but with Pennywise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
There will the
Pennywise
world
goes
will
to
be
space.
Exactly. And I think everybody
I'm
wants to see that.
I think Spooky Tuesday is ready for that, but I don't know if the world at large is ready for that yet. But you're
Sometimes
coming
you
from an
have to
innovative
lead the
place.
way for the audience,
Spooky Tuesday,
Monica.
always right, Monica.
I know that we're right. I know that we're right, but I don't expect the whole world. That's why we're so micro niche horror movie podcast because
True,
the
but we're
whole
always
world isn't
right. We're
ready for
on the
this.
pulse.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be crazy in 50 years when people find our
Our
podcast in the
podcast.
rubble of the earth and they're like, "Holy shit, these girls!"
Yeah, because
They
people don't
really
know it, but we're
understood.
making hard copies of the episode and we're hiding them out in the universe. Just
Yeah,
in
we're-
I'm
case.
leaving floppy disks all
Right, we're burying it. Everybody gets a time capsule.
But to what you were saying though, Sydney, I do think it is interesting. I mean, it's not like that there isn't racism still in the 80s, you know what I mean? But for Mike's storyline in particular, with him being so separate from the rest of the losers and the rest of the town for so long and having this like truly horribly racist bullying going on,
Yeah.
that feels so relevant for the time period of the 50s when tensions are like ramped so high right before the Civil Rights Act starts in the 60s. But racism is on, we still have it today, so you know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like
Newsflash.
there's
It's
nothing
very
about it that,
expensive.
yeah, there's nothing that needed to be in the 50s as opposed to the 80s. I think the 50s makes a lot of sense. I don't know what it is in the books though. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure when the books came out,
It's
but
the
not that
50s.
long before the
It's
miniseries,
in
right?
the 50s.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
book's set in the
Yeah.
50s also.
The book says set in the 50s also because it came out in the 80s, I think, or maybe the 70s. Let me look up when it came out. It book release Google 86. Wow,
Okay.
they flipped that shit and reversed it quick.
Oh yeah,
4
you know
year
what? I do
turnaround for
remember
the
that.
miniseries. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when we did the 1991, it was much closer to the release of Stranger Things season 4. And it was so
Mm.
like, oh, this is what Stranger Things was doing in season 4. They've got the floating people with like the cloudy eyes, and they've got the monster that is like preying on fear and trauma and blah, blah,
Oh,
blah. Finn Wolfhard is
interesting.
also there.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that timeline too. I was like, because obviously Stranger Things is Stranger Things set starting no in the 80s. Okay, it is the 80s, not
Yeah.
the 70s. It's just like
Yeah.
1980. So they have
And
some of the
season 4 is
70s
86
styling.
specifically.
Yeah, but I just brought that up because I was like, oh, I wonder if that was like influential to them choosing this time period, but they were well on their way of making this film, I'm sure, in 2016 when that came out. So I think that's just the 80s are cool and they were trying to capture the Gen X market and they did because this movie was a big huge smash success. So yeah. But I want to just zoom in really quickly like on this cast of characters. Like throughout the whole film series, the two, it's incredible casting all along. Like the cast that they get for the older like people, older versions are incredible. It's some of my favorite aged up casting like ever.
Mhm.
We're not covering that movie right now though, and we never will. And so that's just how it goes. I kind of want to watch it again though. But like the young kid cast for this movie had me in such a fucking chokehold. I have so religiously supported these children's careers from 2017 until now. Like I am their biggest fan. If they have 0 fans, it's cuz I'm dead. Like I love them. And they're perfect for the role. They all have such great chemistry and they're all like just so talented. And I think that's why this movie is so much better than the one that came after it because like you just can't care as much about that as you care about this because they do such a good job of making you fall in love with all of these kids. Like it's really really well done. It's such a good movie because it is so fucking terrifying and also like it's like I could live in this little, like, those little pockets of just like their little teenage cutie drama and their like childhood, like just going on their bikes around town. Like, it's like a slice of life, kids in the summer in the 80s movie, interspersed with like horrific fucked shit. So you really get it all. And the kids are just so fucking precocious and funny. And also, I just think the writing really takes it there too, because like they don't leave a second of space like unutilized in this movie. There's so much detail with the dialogue, specifically between Eddie and Richie and some of the other characters too, where they're always just doing this banter constantly, and you
Which is
can't even
improvised a
hear
lot,
it.
It's
apparently.
improvised.
Oh,
Yeah. So that
see,
makes sense that
okay,
they're just like filling this space on set, and so it
Yeah.
like gives this very rich appearance to every scene that like life really continues beyond what we
Mhm.
need for
yeah.
plot.
That's one of my favorite details about this movie is my favorite details about the movie is the details of this movie.
Is the
But like
details. My favorite
but
details are the details.
my favorite details are the details. But like it feels like Disneyland. They really filled
Yeah.
it all the way out, and there's stuff that's like spooky and weird or funny and hilarious that you might not even catch because it's like the volume's down, it's the background, it's not the focus of the scene at all. And so it's just I don't know, it feels rewatchable because of that too.
Yeah, I think it definitely gives the movie a very like alive quality in that
Mhm.
way. Um I will say I mean Sophia Lillis is incredible. I think she does an amazing job, but to me she appears so like visually older than the other kids, and she's only like a year older than them, so maybe that's just like me and I need to deal with that, and like some kids definitely go through puberty differently at different
I think that's
ages
the point.
that she's like developed in their like little babies. And
I
I
I
think
think
that
it
also like girls
works, but
do
I just
develop a lot at that age, like more.
yeah.
Although apparently she was like the shortest one. Like to me, it looks like she's so much taller than
She does look tall.
everybody else.
she's
They did
so
magic
much
on set.
taller
She's
than Jack
standing.
Grazer.
She's standing on boxes most of the time. I think
Classic
to give
Hollywood
her
apple
that like
crate trick.
tall appearance.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think I understand what you're saying, Chelsea. Like, it is obviously she looks a lot older, but I do think that that's the point because she's
that she
supposed to
like
be like
developed
this.
young, and that's part of why everybody's like hypersexualizing her. And
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and also just like her whole storyline with her fear and her horror and all of that is around her menarche and her period and like her becoming a woman and becoming like a what's the word like not sexually active, that's not what it is, like
sexually
she get
mature.
sexually mature, thank you so much, I just couldn't, she's not sexually active, that's the whole thing, everybody says that she is but she's not. Well, okay, we'll get into that later, but like I think that's the point, that she looks so much older and that's why they're all like goo goo gaga for her because they're still like little baby boys, and then this like woman walks on the scene and she's not a woman, she's a little girl just like them, she's a child just like them, but like that's like part of the dynamic, I think, is that like
Yeah. And if I'm thinking about it, it's like Mike kind of looks her age, and he's also a little bit older than the rest of the cast. I mean, they're all within a pretty close range, but it makes sense. This isn't like an average sampling of sixth grade boys or seventh grade boys or whatever. Like these are the loser kids, so it makes sense that those are the kids who are maybe um developing slower, and therefore to some degree like feeling like they're being left behind or being ostracized by other
yeah.
people in their class, and they're kind of smooshed together because they're not. I mean, like Henry Bowers and Patrick whatever, those kids are like crazy older looking to me.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know,
But
maybe
there's
their school is like
but
7
that's
through 12 or whatever. They're supposed to be older, but
yeah, no, but like that's the jump though. Do you remember that from junior high to high school? It
Yeah.
felt like you were a child and then all of a sudden you looked completely different.
yeah.
Uh and I said this before, I'll say it again. Henry Bowers looks exactly like this guy from my high school that I fucking hated. And so that makes this even more an acute watch for me because he looks just like him and I fucking can't stand that guy. I do feel bad for Henry Bowers. He has a hard life.
Yeah, it's one
But
of those
he
things
doesn't need to
where,
cut a little boy's tummy with a knife.
which is
No.
He's
crazy,
going for he's
which
going for
is
the tummy all the
crazy.
time. He doesn't need to be a literal psychopath.
Let me
So,
shoot a kitten. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like he is such a vicious bully that when his dad first appears and yells at him, you're like, that kid needs to get yelled at. And then 1 second later, you're like, actually, I think that kid is that way because he's always getting yelled at. And obviously,
no,
it's more than that too.
I was watching it again today. I didn't get all the way through my second watch, but the second rewatch today, there's that point right after he cuts open poor Ben's little tum tums, and then they fall down the hill, and he can't find his dad's knife, and he's fucking
Freaking out. Yeah.
freaking
Yeah.
out, and he's terrified. And so, like, in the moment, you're just like, he's a crazy guy. He just cut somebody's fucking stomach open. Like, fuck that. But, like, when you watch it again, you're like, he is terrified of the repercussions of what will happen if he doesn't bring this knife back, if the knife isn't found, because he's being abused by his dad for sure.
Yeah,
Which is not an
ACAB,
excuse to
always.
be a
Yeah.
murderer or whatever he is.
I think it's interesting to have him and Mike and Beverly all in the same story because they're all sort of different looks at and different reactions to abuse. It seems like Mike's grandfather isn't necessarily abusive with him, but is like so harsh cold world kind of thing. Like you're either the person who punches the sheep in the head with the gun or you're the sheep that gets punched in the head with the gun. So you got to pick. Um, but you see the way that Beverly in particular, I guess, because that one is very clearly abuse. It's like you can be
Oof.
abused and you can continue that cycle of abuse or you can break the cycle of abuse. And Beverly at no point is like pushing the harsh treatment that she gets onto anybody else. Like she's only ever kind to the people around her.
Yeah. I didn't really read Mike's story as like abuse. I feel like it was more like them forcing him to grow up too soon, but it was like a rough circumstance
Yeah.
that he had to be
Mhm.
working as a child and things like that. And
I'm not from
um
farm culture, so I guess I can't speak to whether or not it's appropriate for a
Sydney,
12-year-old, 13-year-old to be the one who kills the animals.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it was abuse. I think it was just like he needed to work
Like
to
you gotta
support
grow
his
up.
family.
This is the real life.
Yeah, and so I get it. That's not a ideal situation for a kid at all. I would not want poor Mike to have to deal with that, but um, it's a different set of circumstances. Um, but Beverly, oh my God, watching it this time around, like I don't know. When I watched it in 2017, I didn't have a horror movie podcast, and I haven't really watched it since then. And now I'm watching it twice, and I've read the book too. Um, but it's been so long, and also such a traumatizing experience to read the book because it's just like
The-
hate crime,
Right.
gay hate crime,
Gay hate crime.
Jewish hate crime, like just like it's
racism.
Mhm.
racism. Like it literally like opens with a gay hate crime. I
It
brought
does.
this up on our 1990
Yeah, I recall.
movie episode, but it's
But we
just
can't
like
let the people forget.
Yeah,
I
they
started
might not have
reading
listened to
it.
that episode.
Yeah, well, you should. I started reading it. I was like, oh, interesting, gay hate crime, and then it went straight into like a lot of like not anti-Semitism, like immediately after that. And I was
Yes.
like, I need a break, and so I took like a several
Yeah.
month break. I was like, it's very much a lot, but like, I just really, I think, repressed like the like sorry, trigger warning, the like sexual abuse storyline of Beverly. It is
Yeah.
just so, it's so horrific. It was just
Yeah.
so, I don't know how I push that down the other times I've watched this, but it's just like it is so scary. Her story is so scary because it's
And
so
it's so sad.
it's so sad, and it's so interesting because like all the other kids like have these like ghoulish sort of spooky things happening to them. Besides Bill has experienced some real things going on.
And Mike.
Besides Bill and Mike have had real traumas in their life, but the other ones are so childish, like obviously they've
Well,
all
Eddie's
experienced
being
bad things.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Munchausen
Eddie's is
by
kind of bad
proxy.
too.
Eddie's being Munchausen by proxy,
Eddie's is
but like the
complicated because not that it's good to just be told that you're sick and be given placebos, but at least he's not like actually been giving medicine that's harming him.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the psychological abuse of it is still very much present.
no, totally. I just mean like the appearance
Yeah.
of their
How it manifests.
fear monsters. That's all I'm talking about. Eddie for sure. I want to get into that more. But like hers is so sparse visually, like there isn't like a ghoul that comes for her, but it's so like blood focused and it's so focused on like the fear. It's so like even hard to talk about. Like her fear is like the fear of her now having started her period because
Womanhood.
she is being, we don't know the extent, but sexually abused by her father, and then the ramifications of her starting her period. It's just
Right.
like so horrific.
Horrifying.
I couldn't get, oh my god. This time it just really struck me, and I was like, I can't think about the rest of the movie because this is just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
just really, really, really incredibly dark.
I have
But
like complicated thoughts about like what that means that I think would be possibly an interesting discussion, but I also don't know that it's a discussion that we need to have. Like,
Right.
when
Yeah.
did it start, or I don't think we need
yeah,
to really.
I mean, there's no way to know. And there's
'Cause
no way
it
they
feels
leave
like,
it
is
vague
she
enough.
aging out
Thank
of it,
God.
and he's trying to like being like, you are still my little girl. Like,
Are
he-
you still
what-
my
I
little
don't- yeah.
girl? Like,
Or is it that like because she's reaching sexual maturity now, it's like phasing into something more? Whatever. I don't need to explore it.
Well, I also think that she's like trying to like minimize her femininity when she that cuts off all of her
own
hair.
but yeah,
Because he has that
And he
response
says, "You
where
look like
he's
a boy."
you
He-
look
like-
like a little
Yes.
boy. So it's like a defense to which,
mm-hmm.
though yeah, it's like probably the darkest part of this movie that has a lot of real fucking dark shit going on in it. Thank
Yeah.
God for
Because at least
Richie
not that Bill's is
for
good, but at
making
least
it so
his
funny.
right.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Bill's thing is like out in the public, like everybody knows about it. Not that that makes it like easier necessarily, but at least they know what's going on with him. Whereas
And
like
it's happening to everyone in the town. Like all
and
these kids are
also-
going missing.
It's more sympathetic. That know what I mean? Like where Bev's is like internalized and like
there's so much shame that she's
It's
clearly
It's shame
like,
and
yeah.
secrecy.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
there's
Bill's
the
is
shame and
like,
secrecy.
Something happened, we don't know where, like other kids are missing and all this kind of stuff. So it's like a different form of grief.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know. It just really hit me this time around, but like it's so effective because it is this real life adult shit happening to these literal children.
Mhm.
And again, like I said before, they really make you fucking care about these kids. Like I just think it's really well written in the way where it makes me care like so deeply about all of
Yeah.
them. Like they do a really good job. I know it's over a 2-hour long movie, but I wouldn't delete a second
Oh my god,
of
yeah,
it.
it's so long.
No.
It's so long, and this is just half the story. Oh my god, but okay.
Girl,
I'm
you
on
want to
board,
know
yes.
how long the book was?
Oh,
the
the
book
book
what's
is
was like
crazy?
a
so
year
long.
long.
The
I
book
was
is
watching
so
this
long.
movie. The movie is 2+ hours. I was like, this is so long. This is too long. But I also was like, I would watch an entire TV season that was this storyline. It just would be like parsed in smaller bites. You know what I mean? So
It would be
I think
like
it's
so
the
good if it was like,
medium.
I don't know, maybe a
What if it
mini
was like
series?
10 hours long?
Right?
Maybe if it was just a
Well,
mini series.
That mini series was also basically 2 movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
But I don't know. I think you're totally right, and it's interesting because I've watched the 1990, which we covered obviously. And I watched this one. The first time I watched this one, I like tried to watch it with two friends, and we couldn't really get into it. We were like in a dark room with friends. You'd think it would be kind of ideal circumstances, but we were all kind of like, not feeling it, so we turned it off. And then I watched it on a plane at some point, which was like fine for
Interesting
just being
plane
like,
movie.
I know. I was like, it was fine for being like, let me just like see what happens here. And I watched the second one as well, so I know I've seen it. But what I remember for the rest of the story is primarily from the 1991. Um, and I don't remember young Stan in that one, but young Stan in this one, I think, is like kind of a little star and does a really good job. And remembering what the deal is with Stan in chapter 2 or in the older adult
Yeah.
timeline, I think they set up really well for you to be like connected to that character and feel for that character and like hit you like a gut punch when he's not meet when what happens to him,
You could
as
say
opposed
it.
to, yeah, he just he dies by suicide very like basically as soon as,
Right at the beginning.
yeah, they're like, come
It's
back
like
to
the
Derry, and then he's like,
impetus.
no,
He's
I
like,
won't.
I'm out,
I sure won't.
actually.
Yeah, and knowing that, watching this, I think you can see like how horrifying it is for him that that is the way things go for him in the future. And I think that kid does such a good job because
Wyatt
I
Olaf,
remember
put
in the
some respect on
1991.
his name.
Yeah, I remember in the
I love
1991
him.
being like, that guy's not even a character basically, but he's very present here. He's like, I don't know. I think you're involved in his storyline, and then only Richie showing up to his bar mitzvah makes me sad.
I know.
I know. He is so good. And also, I just want to take this time to put a little shine on a TV show that should have gotten a second fucking season. It is a collaboration between two of our stars
Mm,
here. It's Sophia Lillis and Wyatt Olaf, and they had an incredible show called I Am Not Okay with This. It is 7 episodes only. I think it's on Netflix. It is on Netflix.
yeah,
It better still be on there because they're doing that thing where they take things away from you.
but
And
it's an
I,
original, so I think it's still on there.
yeah, it's incredible. It's so great. I loved it so much. It's 7 episodes. It doesn't go anywhere. I'm sorry. But you
Yeah,
can write a fan fiction about it afterwards. It's worth the watch. It was
it
a
was a
delight.
COVID victim. I think
Yeah.
it got renewed for a second season, and then because of the pandemic, they were like, never mind. Kind of like with Glow season 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out in 2020, so, right at the worst possible time. But really delightful, and those two actors have great chemistry, and it was cool to see them back together again. So
Mm-hmm.
don't forget about it. It's
And it's gay.
Yeah.
hmm But yeah, no, it's good to put shine on Stanley because it is so sad. Like watching this, knowing what happens later on. And again, maybe I'll watch it part chapter 2 again so I can really experience it, but maybe I won't also because I don't need to put
But
myself
also,
through that.
maybe I will.
I could just watch this 3 times in a row and feel really good about myself cuz it
Yeah.
ends semi happily. Um but yeah, I mean, what else? There's so much that goes on in this movie. I think that's something that's been top of mind for me. Sydney ruined my life earlier this week. There's been much contention about the new Taylor Swift album. We're not
Oh.
getting into that. The one thing we will talk about is that one song made me cry from it, and that was "Ruin the Friendship." Um, and I've since decided that I only like the end part when it gets really fucking sad. But Sydney sent me a video, you bitch, that was just the end part, and it was like a fan cam love video of Richie and Eddie, and it
Eddie.
changed my life forever. And also, it changed my life physically because earlier today I was watching the movie on my computer and I decided to watch the fan cam at the same time, and the audio got real fucked up and it blasted that song so loud in my ears that I felt physical pain, which has never happened to me before. So I might have permanent damage from my love of this video, but I don't regret it. So thank you, Sydney, for ruining me. But oh, those boys. They
Yeah.
are the banterers the whole time. They really are. Like watching it again, I was like, okay, they're just like always going at each other. Why? Why? Can you weigh in, Richie?
Because they're in love. I think that's what's interesting to me about Richie is we see so he doesn't really until he enters that house at the Neibold house. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
until he goes in there, I don't think we see him have his own
No, he
Pennywise.
hasn't.
Yeah, exactly. And then when we get in there, his Pennywise thing is Eddie. Like that's the thing that makes him feel afraid is like whatever
Oh,
is
that's a
going
very
his
really good
care for
point.
Eddie or
Mhm.
his being afraid to confront how he feels about Eddie meaningfully. Like that is the thing that's scary for him, which is super interesting. So
Wow, I didn't even really
he
think about that.
yeah, he knows how he feels whether or not he's repressing it. But I do remember there's that scene. I don't remember if it's from this movie or if it's a flashback from chapter 2 where he's like carving the names in the
That's
bench. Maybe you
chapter
see half of
2.
it here and then half of it there or something. But yeah, I think that's like at the end maybe. Is they have where it's like revealed like why he cares so much.
Yeah, it's chapter.
But
Yeah, it's the second one, which I was so mad because I
Mhm.
rewatched that montage and I was like, where the fuck was that? God, I have to watch the fucking second one.
The
I want to
second
see Bill
one.
Hader. I want to see Bill Hader. It's fine. I'll do
yeah.
it.
Yeah. And I like James McAvoy.
Yeah,
And I don't Jessica Chastain is there? I don't really remember who
Yeah.
everybody else is.
it's just
I just
great
remember
casting.
beautiful John Ritter playing
That's what I was
Handsome
Yeah,
about
Ben
to
in
Ben.
say.
1990. Yeah.
I was
R.I.P.
literally about to say like, oh, and John Ritter. No, Monica.
No, I
And
wish.
John
was-
Ritter.
That was like the casting of my life. He was
That was the
such a
casting of
delight
a
in that
lifetime.
movie. And
Yeah.
he's wearing his like Western bolo tie and everything. I was
He
like,
looks so
handsome
good.
Ben. I just loved him. And Seth Green as young Richie was so crazy
So
to see
good.
in the 1991, but that's fine.
It's important.
Um,
It's important.
yeah, I mean, everybody did a good job in that movie too. Everybody did a really good job. But it's so interesting here to see the bones of it where I think Richie is so tapped in to what he's feeling again to whatever degree he chooses to acknowledge it or ignore it. And Eddie I don't think necessarily I mean I think he kind of knows that Richie is his best friend, but I also think it's one of those things where it's like Bill is everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
But I don't think he knows why Richie is like picking on him other than he's like an easy target. Not that they're not all easy targets, but he feels like he's like that little one.
He's just the little one who's a victim
Just
of
like a little
Munchausen syndrome by
guy. Yeah,
proxy.
who just like has mommy stuff going on.
I gotta say though, Richie has got the fucking funniest one-liners in the entire world in this movie. They're just so fucking ridiculous.
That's because he grows up to be a comedian. He's just always so funny.
Yeah.
He
But I don't like a lot of his jokes. And so some of them were the one where he was like the beaver trapper one. I don't remember exactly what he said, but that one I was like,
No.
okay, Richie, you got me. But a lot of them
He
I was
said-
like, Richie, you haven't learned to be funny instead of just mean yet.
I still thought it was funny.
No, that one
he
I
said-
liked. That was my favorite one.
No. I'm saying I liked all of his problematic ones.
Oh.
Monica's like, I like
Okay.
the whole package.
I like the whole package. I am a Finn Wolfhard purist and supporter, and I will listen. I can't wait for his like new movie that he's gonna direct because he directed a movie this year. It was a horror movie. It was called
Yes.
Hell of a Summer. It was
It
a
was fun.
co-directing experience, but it was really good. It was great. I thought it was really fun. Like it's just a silly slasher, but like it was very very fun slasher that was like timely, not timely in a meaningful way, just like it
Yeah.
felt like it was capturing the moment of whatever Gen Z the fuck is doing right now. So
Mhm.
good for him.
It was kind
Um,
of giving like my first slasher, but I think in a way that had charm.
Yeah.
Mm.
exactly. It was very fun. And he's doing something. He just announced that he's doing like a biopic on some like 80s band. Ugh, I'll look it up in a second, or if you get to it before I do.
He does music now too.
Yeah, he
So
does
Yeah.
music
that's-
now too.
And
I haven't
let's not
listened to his
forget
music.
the last season of Stranger Things comes out in November.
And then also December, and then also January.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. I need to start my rewatch. Actually,
I do
I
too,
think that
because I
would
remember
be a
nothing that has
fruitful
happened.
rewatch. Yeah, because it's been like 17 years since the last episode came. Yeah, exactly. The last episode came out. So, you know.
Also,
Also,
it's not this movie, but it's the second one. The second one was the first time that like digital de-aging was used. Because
what?
the teens uh in the flashbacks,
Oh, they
like,
were visibly older already.
yes.
Fascinating.
What? That was the first time. When did that movie come out?
2019, so 2 years after the first
Yeah.
one. It would have been
Yeah.
fun if they had filmed them back to back, alas.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
they didn't
Monica,
get
if you were
greenlit for
wondering,
the second one. And
really?
apparently, yeah, they weren't greenlit for it like immediately. It wasn't like immediately too, because I was reading some Screen Rant special little fun facts, and it was like the director started working on the second one before it was greenlit. So
The biopic, the Finn Wolfhard biopic, is on the band The Replacements, or
cool.
just
Yeah,
Replacements, maybe. I don't know. I'm not familiar.
good for him. He's doing interesting things, and I think he's a doll. So good for him. What? Chloe Grace Moretz was the first choice to play Beverly.
Yeah.
This could have been part of Chloe Grace Moretz's remake month. I literally
No.
almost made a joke earlier this episode when Sydney was announcing it, something about holiday and a holiday and a holiday. I was like, if only Chloe Grace Moretz was in this, then it could have been part of Chloe Grace Moretz's remake month. But even though obviously that would be, as I've said before, a remake in May. So,
It's coming.
but also it
We're
could be
gonna do
whenever.
it. Season 6. You thought every month was a theme month in
Just wait.
season 5.
We love a theme. Do y'all remember, like, on Hollywood and Vine, you know how they have that just empty lot that they'll do like movie
Yeah.
promotions on? Do you remember when they had they had the
Yeah,
big
girl.
haunted house that you could like go walk through?
Yeah, I remember
Ooh.
because I went through it with James, my old roommate. That was like one of our few, like, just James and Monica time hangouts. And we went through that maze. It was so scary. And then we went to the Beetlejuice bar in Hollywood and got fucking
Yes.
smashed. And we just were like fucking being weirdos for hours.
That
I
house
have
was
fond
so
memories.
fun.
It was so fun. Oh, okay. This is great because it reminds me of my dear friend Tim. He was there. He's I think the reason that I got to go to that, because you had to like get invited or something like that. He went with me. He is from Maine. He is a huge Stephen King fan. Huge, much bigger than me. He's like told me he wrote the book on it. He told me everything I know about Stephen King. And so I went to Maine 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and I was like, oh, I'm heading out there. Like, what should I see? And he gave me a Stephen King tour to go on to hit all of the hot spots that are in like the different books and stuff. And I was just reviewing the tapes because I did that back in May. And I said back then, I told the girls, I took all these pictures, I took all these videos, and I
You
was
did.
like, I'm not going to post this until we do another Stephen King movie. And guess
been
what,
waiting.
bitch? It's been a year and a fucking half.
She's
and now
ready.
we're
Kept it
finally
locked
doing
and loaded.
one. But I went through all the pictures, and like I didn't expect to see so many of the references in this first movie. But like there's a moment where they're in a park and there's like a big like man who's like a lumberjack statue. I went to that statue. That is a big part of the second movie, but it's just in the background in this first movie. They talk about the standpipe in this. They just mention it and they are in front of it. And also specifically, handsome Ben. We're calling him that now because he's such a cutie. He's still handsome even now. Little baby, new kids on the block lover. His postcard that he gives to Beverly that says something something winter fire, January embers, my heart burns there too.
There too.
That is a picture of the standpipe. So I went to the standpipe. I will look up what a standpipe actually is because I don't know, but I was there. And then I went to Stephen King's house, which is just as fucking ridiculous looking as you would expect. It's like New England classic, but then it has like fucking dragons like on the like ironwork dragons on the fence and stuff. Like it's so cool.
Hell yeah.
And then like I went to the exact grate that like storm drain grate that inspired Stephen King to like make this story. There like as a kid he saw this one storm drain and you'll see it like it's literally nothing. It's just a storm drain. Like it's not that sinister. It's like a manhole, but instead of the manhole cover where you can't see through it, it's like a grate so you can see through it. So very different than how it's portrayed in this movie, which is like a classic like rectangular kind of
curb.
storm drain curb thing. This is different than that. But it's like could be anywhere. It's like in the middle of fucking nowhere.
But it's
And-
that one.
But it's that
But it's
one. No,
this
it's just I
one.
just think it's so interesting that he saw like I love that he brings his life into his work and like things that like maybe when he was a kid creeped him out. He's like, let me turn this into like let me turn my biggest nightmare into a reality. So I love him for that. So I'm really excited to share all those photos finally. I also went to the pet cemetery. But
As you should.
we're not doing pet cemetery yet.
Yet.
Soon. Soon.
What was the scariest scare for y'all in this one?
Such a good question.
I feel like maybe if I had seen this movie in a theater without having seen it before, I would find it scary, but it doesn't have that effect on me. Maybe
Oh,
because
it
it's too
was
CGI
so-
also. I don't know.
The CGI does take you out of it a little bit, but it was so scary in the theater because it is so like it's not relentless. There's a lot of times where there's reprieve, but the horror that you do see is so visceral and like so gory. I think they even like got rid of some of the gore because I was rewatching the part where Patrick, the hot bully, if
Mhm.
you're confused, the hot bully who gets
Who
stolen very early.
Apparently also like could like molest children.
What?
'Cause- Well, in the book, he's like
A
sexually abusing
molester?
Henry Bowers. And
I don't remember that part. I deleted so much of my memories
my
of
God.
this book.
there's also like a scene kind of right at the not like right at the beginning, but like where we see Richie and Richie like walks by the Henry Bowers like group and Patrick like licks his lips at him. So
Okay, well,
Ew. Why?
I'm sorry that I
the-
called him the hot bully.
The
he
world
just
is a
looks like
horrible
Listen,
place, but
he just looks
hot people
like
can
Adam
be horrible
Driver.
people too.
focus in his books.
Stephen King will really go there when he really shouldn't.
Yeah,
Lest we forget there's a child orgy in the book. I have
Yeah.
forgotten.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I deleted it from my memory.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Anyway, there's like a part where he's like doing his little flamethrower thing, Patrick is, and he
Yeah.
sees all the zombie children that have been kidnapped. And then when
That's
he
a good one.
runs, yeah, that's not even my scariest part, but I feel like this is a part where like something was taken away because when he runs away, he's absolutely covered in blood from head to toe, and there is nothing that like not covered, but like from his mouth like down onto his chest, he's like covered in blood. And he looks like kind of injured, and we don't see him have contact with these weird zombie things at all. So I'm like, what did they delete that
Yeah.
happened right there? So I think it could have been even more grotesque than it was. I think the leper is really hard to watch just because it's really gross. Whenever they show a kid really I mean the parts that scare me the most honestly are the Georgie parts cuz like I get scared and sad at the same time and what a lethal combination.
Sure. Honestly, the part that like upsets me the most is maybe when Henry Bowers, we just said his name is Henry, right?
Yeah.
Henry
Henry.
Bowers, when he's like carving up baby Ben, that is the part where I'm like, that's terrible. All of these other things are so like other plane of existence, you know what I mean? That like, yes, it's scary, but I'm like, that's not real. But to be like legitimately carving your name into a child's body because you're a schoolyard bully is like so deeply upsetting to me.
Yeah. And also we already touched on it, but all the Beverly like the Beverly part where she's like actually confronted with her dad and she ends up I guess killing him with the top of the toilet. That part
Mm,
was just like really scary because it was so visceral and it was so grounded in reality. Like
yeah.
where the other scares are like supernatural things happening. This was like her father, and so
Yeah.
that part was just like really horrific. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Like Mike's stuff, I'm not scared by like the burning hands and the inferno behind the door. I
Yes.
like it. I think it's really good. But it's not like scary to me.
Yeah, it's like obviously
But I do think it
traumatizing to him,
rules.
and I feel
Yeah.
bad for him that he has
Yeah.
to relive it, but it doesn't feel as like
I'm not
in your
afraid
face.
watching it.
Yeah.
One of for me like one of the like most like tense like fun scary moments was when they were in the shed with the little like picture thing and
In
you
the
see
Yeah.
garage.
yeah and then you see like it just starts moving by itself and the mom slowly morphs into Pennywise and then all of this like he's like there and then he's
Leaping
gone
out.
and then he's
Yeah.
like coming out of the thing which
And he's
is kind
big.
of
He's
like
so big.
yes but it's kind of like a callback to the 90s one when they're looking through that history book and remember his like hand
Yeah.
pops out of the photos
Yeah. I
and that's
like
one of
that
my
he can
favorite scenes in the 90s one so I like that they were able to kind of keep something like that in.
I like that he can control media. That okay, actually this is a big point that I wanted to bring up. I like that he can control physical media because this is one of my favorite fucking details of this movie is the details. No, I'm gonna just say
Whoa,
stupid shit
oh
again.
my god,
No,
new
Oh my god, the
revelation.
detail.
whoa, big revelation. No, but honestly, like my favorite detail is the TV shit, the fucking TV shit, and I feel like
The children's show.
well, it happens multiple times. And there's even a third time that I thought that
It's so
it might
fun to play in the
happen.
sewers. You could go play in the sewers with your friends.
Yeah,
Kill
like
him.
there are
Kill
like
him.
two different times where it happens. One is very overt. That's the Henry Bowers part where he walks in, his dad is asleep, and you literally see the TV show, and the TV show is like, "Hey, Henry, you should kill your dad. Kill your
Yep.
dad, Henry.
Kill
Kill
him.
your dad." And
Kill
You
then
him.
could kill
and then
everyone, Henry. Yeah.
kill everyone. Yeah, that one is super overt. My favorite is when it's less overt. I don't know whose house that
I
they're
think
at.
it's like Beverly is just coming home.
Beverly's just coming home. Her dad is watching TV, which is interesting parallel because it's also like a evil father figure who's inflicting abuse on the child, and he's watching this television show, and you don't really see it. Maybe you see just a little bit of it, but you hear this same TV show where the woman is like, "Oh yeah, we go down in the sewers and we float there and it is so
Mhm.
fun. We love it." And then all of a sudden it's like, "We love it." Like there's one like demented voice. I love those details. And then there's one other time where Eddie's mom is watching something on
Mm.
television and I couldn't tell because I turned on subtitles for this movie just because the dialogue is so quick and it's happening all the time and it's happening in the background and I can't pick up all of it. So I was trying to see if it would pick up this television part, but it wouldn't. But she's also watching a show and she's also a parental figure who's inflicting abuse on her child. And so I couldn't discern it, but I'd like to think that they continued that theme there as well. I love that Pennywise is the he I'm talking about. Excuse me, it. Pennywise is
Yeah, please use
genderless,
Pennywise's preferred pronouns.
which is
Yeah.
it. It's um it is like not perceivable by adults, and they do a great job of sewing that throughout the movie in a way that I didn't really think about until now. But like the TV show, the parents are watching TV show, they don't understand, like they're not seeing the same things that the kids might be hearing. Like we as movie watchers are in the kids' perspective, so we're hearing those things. But like when the blood is all over Beverly's bathroom, dad can't see it. Like it's something I love my favorite part about this entire movie is that it's all about fear, and it's all about like half of what Pennywise feeds off of is fear. He feeds, that's why like he does what he does to terrorize them psychologically before he actually comes to like literally munch on them physically, because like that's half the battle for him. That's half of the nutrition for him is
Yeah.
soaking up all of that fear. And I think it's so terrifying, a concept, especially when you're dealing with kids, because like it's so easy to be scared of so many different things. Your imagination runs wild. You don't understand the world. Like you can be scared, like Stanley, of a weird fucking picture in your dad's office, like, and that can be the scariest thing you've ever seen. Like I just love the spectrum of fear in this, and like the spectrum of innocence in this through the children. Like some of them are dealing with really heavy shit, some of them are dealing with something that's a little bit more um
Quote
relatable to the
unquote
average
adult.
child. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And it's all food for Pennywise. I love it. It's just a brilliant concept.
Yeah, that I think it's interesting. That kind of leads me into something else I wanted to talk about, which is we do get that suggestion. Certainly it's more overt with Beverly's dad in the bathroom scene, but that adults in this movie can't see the same things that are going on. Of course, we know in chapter 2 that they will be adults and they will to some degree be able to see Pennywise, and we know with like all of the beaver trappers who went into the well house or whatever and like never came out. Like I think that Pennywise will feed on adults when he has when like that's the only food source. I think children are his preferred, obviously. Maybe they're easier to scare. Maybe they're just like
Yeah.
don't necessarily have the life experiences to have an idea of how to respond other than with fear. And I think there's certainly something where it's possible that a lot of other than the beaver trappers, that primarily if there's an adult that gets involved with Pennywise, that it is a child who was tangentially involved or escaped, maybe. I don't know how many kids like escaped Pennywise beyond them, and they
Yeah.
only escaped because there's a squad of them.
Yeah.
And they have the power of friendship and teamwork. Um, but I think there's something to that potentially where it's like the adults are not vulnerable to it. I mean, like Ben says, they are dying at like 6 times the rate of the rest of the national average or whatever. So it's still more than normal. Um, but I think it's possible that those were like the kids who were touched by the saga of Pennywise in some way grown up. Um, but it's
Is
interesting to see kind of the way that he is working.
isn't there, okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
Sydney, I'll need you to weigh in here because you're the expert here. But like there is that one scene, it was a two-part thing, There is that one scene where there Henry Bowers is literally carving into Little Ben's tum-tums, and
Mhm.
that car drives by with the two adults, and they don't give a shit or fuck, and they just keep going. And there's just like an aloofness with adults there. And then there's also that thing where like people can't remember what happens with Pennywise. That's
I
like
think
the
that's
whole that's like an amnesia when you leave Derry
yeah.
that you forget. But I think there might be something with Derry within it
I think it
that
is.
affects the adults.
I think it's like their just like extreme denial of everything and like what is actually happening and like what their town is. Kind of, like this isn't happening in our town. Like this can't be happening. This nothing is wrong. Like when there's obviously something so wrong. And if
Yeah.
these adults like have maybe grew up in Derry, so like they know something is wrong. It's them like choosing to like just ignore everything.
I feel
I
like it's
think there's also a childish inclination to believe in monsters that adults just sort of naturally
totally
lose a lot of the time. So whatever memories they might have, yeah, because again, it's like in from what I remember from 1990, the adults who leave Derry, they don't remember. I think Mike is the one who stays, who works in the
Yeah.
library, who
Mike
calls them
stays.
all back.
Mike's the one who stays,
So
yeah.
he's like he's on alert. So he remembers, he's looking out for things the whole time. Um, so he stays and he remembers. He obviously had direct experiences as opposed to like a monster got my friend's little brother or whatever. Um, but I think it's very easy to grow up and go, I do remember something about a monster. I even if it's like I remember specifically that my friend saw a monster, it's like, well, but we were kids, it must have just been like a it's so easy to rewrite history in that way, and also to dismiss everything as like, I was a kid, I must have misunderstood or saw something that scared me, and I just, the way that I could make sense of it was by making it into a monster. I also think it's possible that it's like the movie Baby Geniuses, where you just hit a certain age and then you cross over, and you just don't retain those memories. So
Chelsea brings this movie up a lot. We went to the movies last week and she talked about this quite a bit.
this is formative for me in my youth.
I'm glad that that it influenced you in hopefully such a positive way because you seem to be doing rather well as an
Kathleen Turner
adult,
was
but
fantastic.
fantastic. But okay, I don't know. Something that fuels my fire thinking that like maybe there's some sort of sedative like quality that it Pennywise produces to adults when or when it I'm so sorry, I misgendered Pennywise. When it arises every 27 years. I feel like people aren't freaking out enough about like the mass missing children. There's not like
Yeah.
I think that's
even
part
like
of like the town a little bit. Like,
I think it's part of the town and part of his influence, part of its
yeah.
influence. God, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, I think that makes sense that there's something in the town that kind of anesthetizes them to it all so that they can the creature can keep feeding, and there aren't adults interfering. So like it kind of has to have some effect on them just to keep them out and away. Um I think it definitely makes sense that that's like part of his powers, if you will.
Yeah.
I also think, I mean, obviously, like three missing children in one summer is awful, and is a lot for normal circumstances. But again, this is Derry where this kind of shit is happening regularly every few decades. So it's maybe also one of those things where it's like Derry's cursed and you move on with your life. Like that's bad, but there's nothing to see here. That's
Could
just
it
the
be
town.
me?
Nothing more to see here, people.
I mean, it
Crazy,
makes sense
crazy
too with
business.
like the circumstances of Georgie's in particular shows you how it can be easily written off as not anything supernatural or weird. He fell in a storm drain, he got swept away. blah blah blah.
Georgie.
Betty
I
Gorgeous
just
Ransom, we
George.
see her shoe in the sewers,
Penny Ransom,
and
yeah.
you know, not that the police found that, so they're not like she wandered into the sewers, but like there are lots of ways that you know people do go missing and are never found.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also suspicious that like Bill figured out where they would all go, like where it could all possibly be, and like the police have not gone in there and searched for
Yeah,
these things.
I
They're
think what
not
you're saying
finding
about the car
her
driving
shoes.
away, I think that that makes sense and is like very could be just like part of the it could be supernatural and it could also just be like the culture of
The
the town of
culture
like
of
we look
Derry.
away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway,
Life is
I
tough. Sometimes you get cut up by a bully. You grow up and you move on.
I just want to really quickly touch on the romance aspects of the film. With Bev and Bill and Ben, it's a classic love triangle. And I just feel so bad for Ben because Beverly obviously really likes him and they have like this connection. But then like I think Beverly just like like anyone might, sees how cute Bill is and how sad he is because his little brother died. And she's like blinded by that. Even when she figures out that the poem of all
Is
poems,
Ben.
the best poem of all time, not true, but it's very, if I got that,
It's
if I
so
got that,
sweet. If I got that in middle school, I would have died.
I would have, that's incredibly romantic if I received it as an adult and a child wrote that. Like, that's a
I
very
think it's
nice
really grown
poem.
on me over the years for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You hated it at first.
I think at first I was like, okay. But now I'm like, it is
Hated.
poetic.
It
Well,
is
as a
poetic.
poet myself, I had opinion.
Well, I don't know. I just think that it was so hard to like watch that play out and like I forgot about Ben's kiss of life in this
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Yeah.
It's like Beverly gets taken and not killed because she's not afraid because she killed the source of her fear already. So didn't realize that the first couple times I watched this movie either. Um but I love that, like, I don't love that it's like a true love's kiss that wakes her up, like, whatever, it's trite. But also,
It's really sweet.
it was really
Yeah.
sweet. It was very sweet. And I'm glad that it was Ben who did it, even though it could have been Bill or Ben, because Bill is so focused on his brother at that time, and that's like his
Mm-hmm.
soul focus. And God, just all of the Bill Georgie stuff like really gets me. Like, just rewatching that, I just rewatched the end right before we started recording, where like he has that whole back and forth with Georgie, because like he's really carrying so much guilt because he
Yeah.
was supposed to be out there with him, and he told him to go outside by himself, even though
And he
like his
literally
parents wouldn't
said,
want him to.
he said, I would go with you, except I'm dying. And he like
Right?
really
Like,
hit
I'm
that word. And
sick.
then it's his little brother like literally died. And it's like, I was being a dramatic little bitch. And now he's dead for real. And like, obviously it's not his fault. But as a 12-year-old, you know, you're internalizing shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's it's just it's the emotional heart of this movie is that loss, because like Georgie is such a little sweetheart. There's so much going on, there's so much emotion, there's so many plot points here. And but I really think the Georgie Bill storyline is like what tides you through the whole thing. And the fact that like he has this moment where he's like, this whole time he's like, he's still alive, he's still alive, he's still alive. And we all know, all of his friends all know, his mom and his dad
His
all
parents.
know that Georgie is dead. Like there's no way he's still alive. It's been months. But he's a
Even if
little
he got
boy.
swept away, he's not, you know, living in the wilderness or whatever.
Exactly. Like and Bill just is holding out this hope, and then he finally gets that moment where he can have the apology, he can apologize to his little brother. He can have that like closure almost with him, but he even then knows finally that it's not him and that it can't be him and he's not here anymore, and he has to have that moment where he shoots him with the fucking sheep gun. That is like one of the most horrific things I've ever seen committed to film.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
Although I love
Ah!
when his body is on the ground and then his limbs just like grow as he becomes Pennywise.
But like the
They had to do
Losers Club
something
were like
silly.
standing behind because they got Bev, and they like run to find Bill, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And
Oh my
and
god, shit's getting real down here.
what just
I thought
happened?
Kiss of True Love. I thought things were turning around, but this is dark. Okay, one
Yeah.
more thing that I thought of for the adults discussion. It's so interesting to me that Greta Keen or whatever her name is, the daughter of the pharmacist Mr. Keen, that they both know that those are placebos that Eddie is getting. And I think I mean it could be that his mom is just like also aware that they're placebos, but is like that is not my business or whatever is going on. I think it's also possible that the mom like was trying to put him on real medication, but the pharmacist was like, I'm not. I'll give him placebos because he's not sick. But if that is the case, then it is one of those things where it's like an adult kind of knows what's going on and is kind of also just like looking away and being like, not my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless if it's placebos, whether or not the mom knows that they're placebos, it is an adult being like, and I'm giving this to him to maintain the order of things rather than disrupting what's going on to help somebody who's being harmed.
All adults in Derry are evil? Question mark.
Right.
Apathy is harmful in many of its own ways.
Yeah. And that pharmacist is already morally gray because he was hitting on a child.
Yeah, he's flirting
Yeah.
with Bev.
So we already knew he sucked. We already knew he sucked. I'm like
The trash
having
juice bullying in the beginning, I also hate.
gross.
That's like such a innovative bully.
It is.
Though.
It is.
Like I
and
will
I
give
hate
them
it.
that.
Yeah, they're reaching new levels of horror. Good job, I guess. What else do you guys want to talk about? We've kind of talked about
Oh,
a lot of
one
it
the things,
overarching, but any moments before we go to the end?
a qualm that I had with this movie was
Bill.
I think it's Patrick, like one of the bullies that like goes into the sewers.
Patrick, the one who gets taken.
Flamethrower
first?
Patrick.
Yeah. Why do we get to see Georgie's arm get ripped off, but when it comes to Patrick's death, it just like fades to black and we don't see anything?
That's what I was saying
I
earlier.
wanted to see him get folded into the tunnel like in the 1990 one.
He's older too. That's what I was saying.
They don't do the like headlights thing here.
They do, but only when Pennywise opens his mouth.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
And with Bev.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and with Bev, yeah. But I think they deleted a scene there because he, like I was saying earlier, he's covered in all that blood, and it doesn't make sense that he's covered in all that blood because nothing, you don't see anything happen to him.
Yeah.
Like if I have to see Stan get fucking deep mouth kissed by the weird eyed woman where he's sucking on her face like a fucking I don't even know terrifying shit. Like why aren't we fucking up Patrick, who's an evil fucker who looks like Adam Driver? Okay, like
I
rip
wanted
him
him
up.
to get folded in the pipe so bad.
Yeah,
I know.
was
And then like
waiting.
Henry, his death is sad. Not sad. It's brutal, but like could be worse. He just went bing bang boom bomb boom down the well. Could have been gorier if we're gonna see
Is he
Georgie's
dead?
arm get ripped off.
I don't know
I
how he
mean-
could not be, but he's in the 1991 older. Right?
Does he survive?
Yeah,
That's him
He
like in the
survives.
hospital, and then Pennywise uses him like as an
Oh.
instrument.
Oh,
of
well then
evil.
he's probably then he survives and he's just brain dead or whatever in the mental institution. Or not brain dead, but like
Lobotomized.
impaired in some significant way because of the
I thought
head
he was gonna
trauma
get
he received.
yeah. I thought he was gonna get
Lobotomized by
lobotomized
the
for real by the thing. Yeah.
Yeesh, Yeesha.
That's not how they
Don't
do
need that.
lobotomies, but close enough.
Close enough. Jesus Christ, so dark. Um,
I do. I mean, I don't like Bev and Bill.
No,
I'm not into their romance.
no, I'm a Ben
no,
girly. Bev and Ben forever.
Ben is deeper. I do like how Bill feels about it though. Like I'm happy for Bill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he didn't see the kiss of true love because he was off dealing with Pennywise Georgie. So it makes sense that he doesn't even know that that might be something that's going on in the background. He doesn't know that there's this poem. He's just like, "Oh, I don't know much about poetry."
He just sees
Um
a pretty girl and he has a crush on her.
Yeah, and like they had their history together of the kiss in the third grade play, and so
Yeah, it's
it
really
is
sweet.
sweet, but I'm not rooting for it. And again, maybe that is in large part because of John Ritter.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I am like mad that attention is getting diverted away from Ben, who I think is a tiny little sweetheart.
I know. I think he's so sweet, but they do have their own sweet moments. I love
Yeah.
the like sonically dissonant moment where like they're all in Ben's room and they're looking at his fucking psycho history wall like Charlie
Right?
Day and It's Always
Hmm.
Sunny. Um and she closes the door and really quickly the music goes like like it's some new kids on the block thing and it's so like sonically dissonant. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, this is a choice by the director to do something fun, and I support him. And I think it's very funny, but it scared me. So I was like, what's happening right now? But yeah, I mean, I'm sure they get their shine in chapter 2. I've seen it again, deleted it from my mind. So I don't like to think about how, 90% of everyone dies. So I don't care to relive that. Thank you so much. I like to live in this moment at the end of the movie where finally I could see my screen again because I watched this during the day and it wasn't dark anymore and it was beautiful
Oh
Maine
my God, this
in the
movie's too dark.
Yeah.
summertime. It was gorgeous. And they all are like, let's do a blood pact. And then they did it wrong. They did a blood pact wrong. Which
Which
is
is so fun.
unfortunate. It's very cute. Your
I guess
blood is
they'd have to cut
supposed
both
to
hands.
Yeah.
exactly. They only cut one hand, and that is why they did the blood pact wrong. I never
Hmm.
noticed that before. I was like, so only like I don't think like any of them actually did a blood pact unless someone cut the like opposite hand. The
I
only
mean,
people who
the
did the
intent
blood
is
pact was
there,
Eddie and Richie.
and it is, maybe it's best that everybody is to some degree keeping their blood to themselves. Although I was like, Richie's blood is going to be all over Eddie's cast, and I bet Eddie's going to
Yeah.
like that. That's going to stay.
Loved it. Good for him. He's getting over his learned hypochondria. But yeah, I just like I love the ending of this movie.
It's really sweet.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet. And like all of the sweet parts of this movie, like, oh God, reminds me of Super 8. Why haven't we done Super 8 on this podcast?
What? We could have done that for Alien Month if there were
We
Infinity
can
Weeks in
do
Alien
it
Month.
Yeah.
whenever we want. I
That's true.
am
I'm just
going to
saying.
start campaigning. That is one of my all-time favorite movies.
I haven't seen that movie. I haven't thought about that movie in years.
I saw
I've
it in
seen it like an
theaters.
insane amount of times. Yeah. J.J. Abrams, baby. That's the only reason I care about him because he did Super 8. Anyway,
Is
something
one
to
of
think about for
the
the
is Elle
future.
Fanning in that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
girl.
AJ Machalka.
Yeah, girl. All-star cast.
Wow. Look at that.
Kyle Chandler, bitch.
So real.
Ugh, okay. Are we ready to move to our
Segmentos?
let's do it. How could this movie be gayer?
Obviously, you have Eddie and Richie.
I just
Yeah.
it's really powerful. It's really moving.
Bev should be a lesbian.
I agree.
I think both Baby Ben and Baby Bill are kind of giving Butch.
True. That's why she's confused.
That's true. That's so true, actually.
you know what I mean?
Bisexual,
I
I
think
guess.
No, but I think it would be so funny. All these people think she's like a whore and sleeping with this man, and she's just like, I'm gay. Like, I'm
Mm,
I'm
I
like
actually
with
have
it.
opted out of
never
all of that.
touched
Yeah.
a
I would
man, and
never,
I
do
never
that.
will.
Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I think that Stanley is giving.
Oh,
He's giving.
yeah.
He is the queerest of them all, actually.
Yes.
And it's too bad what happens to him because he obviously has a wife in the 90s one. I can't remember. Again, I can't remember chapter
Mhm.
2. Deleted it from my mind. But that's a little cutie gay boy. And I love him so much. And he does such a good job at his bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
Pennywise, obviously, chaos, non-binary.
Yeah, I was gonna say genderqueer for sure.
Yeah,
Genderqueer for sure.
I'm letting those pronouns speak for themselves for one.
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh my
And also,
God.
obviously, presentation can change. A shape-shifting creature. It's like it's presenting however it wants to present in the moment. Sometimes its crab legs come out. Sometimes the crab legs go back
It's a
in.
It
spider.
could be a turtle.
It's a crab spider. They are like, it's a spider. I'm looking at it and it's a crab. So you can say whatever you want, but I'm looking at it with my
A
own
crab
eyeballs.
is the spider of the sea.
That's true.
So
Crustaceans
poetic.
are bugs. Crustaceans are
that's
ocean
true.
bugs. So same. But different.
I do think it's interesting. I feel like these movies launched such an incredible power of shipping into the world. Richie and Eddie really is the big one that launched 1000 fan fictions, etc. But they've like paired off everybody in this movie. Like Bill and Mike, that's a ship that I have seen, not that I'm going out of my way to interact with it, but I have seen it
But I've seen it.
established over and over as like those are the two.
Oh.
Even though Bill has a wife in the future, at least in the 1990s one. And I think probably also in the James McAvoy one as well, but I don't recall. But those are it's like Bill
so
and Mike.
Interesting because
and
I would call it
then-
the Bill Hader one. But interesting who we'd choose.
Well, just because we were talking about Bill is why I said James McAvoy. Because I was like, isn't Olivia Hussey his
Yes.
paralyzed wife in the 1990 who gets unparalyzed by the magical bicycle ride on Silver?
Yes.
Hi ho,
Yeah.
Silver.
So I don't remember that what
Big part
happens
of the
in
book.
chapter 2, but
Yeah.
I don't remember anything except for that.
But I loved that. Obviously, I loved that in 1990.
I love a
'cause it's
bike
so
that can
silly.
cure paralysis.
Thank God.
Well, it is a supernatural paralysis, so who's to say the magical bike can't do it?
It can do whatever it wants, and I'm never going to tell it otherwise.
But yeah, I mean, everybody has come up with their ships, and I think, you know what, Bill and Mike, I'm prepared to get behind that.
Yeah, I can see it.
I'll support it. God damn, I support it.
Poor Stan.
I've never
once
thought
again.
about it until now. Stan just has a hard time, and it's not fair for him. And I
Mhm.
want him to have a better time because it's just
Stan
bad
and
all the way
Richie
around.
have a moment in college. I'm just saying it.
Stan and who?
Richie.
Oh, I thought you said Poochie, and I was like, who the fuck is Poochie?
Made up.
You know, Poochie.
He's the flamboyant gay character in the background that is just like waiting for Stan to be ready.
That's one of my OG characters, actually, for the.
That's
cinematic
her
universe.
original creation.
Wow, your fanfic is really good.
Thank you.
No, I could see that because I do think that Richie is like would be ready to be gay, but not ready to quote ruin the friendship with Eddie. But with
Yeah.
Stan, it would feel more like lighthearted, fun, experimental. We can kiss and not worry about what this means, blah blah
They're
blah
just
kind of thing.
two bros
Poor Stan.
figuring it out in college. And then Stan gets a wife because he's too scared of it.
Or he could be bisexual.
He's
Mhm.
bisexual. Let's
Yes.
let's relieve him of that pain. He's
I
bisexual.
I was talking with somebody literally yesterday about the phenomenon of being like the only girl in the guy group and how because of the misogyny of our society when you're young you're like, "Oh my god, I'm special." And then as you get older it's like, I don't ever want to be in a group of only guys. I don't want that. And so I would
Especially
like
straight
to, yeah,
Ugh.
I'd love to invent a world where Bill and Ben could both be non-binary butches. But I have no more to say on the subject. I just am
Bill,
putting it
Okay.
Bev, and Ben could be a fun polyamorous.
Yeah, they could throuple it up.
throuple.
Yeah, the
And they could be
answer
called
is just throuple.
the triple Bs.
And it could be shaped
Whoa.
polyamory too, where it's just
Yeah.
like Bev has two
But the
non-binary
boyfriends are
butch
also
boyfriends who are
boyfriends.
lesbians.
Yeah.
I don't need them to also be boyfriends. They can just both be Bev's partners for me.
No, I want two boyfriends, and I want them to be boyfriends, and then we can all be boyfriends.
I would need to
Chelsea.
see the Bill Ben relationship be explored more to get on board, but I'm willing to
Well,
buy in.
I think that as they became separate partners to Beverly, they would see how the other cares for their someone that they love, and they'd learn to respect that, and then they'd be like, "Wow, I never thought about you that way, but
Yeah,
like I see
their
how
their
caring of a
romance would be a
lover
grower, not a
you are."
shower.
And I'm really
Yeah.
inspired by how caring of a lover you are. And I'm kind of into that. And
I just
then
am also all
something
for
happens.
yeah, I'm all for looking at like 3-person relationships where it's like one person is not necessarily a part of the sexual dynamic, but they're such an important part of the overall dynamic that it's like they're still equally part of the relationship, even if they're not fucking with everyone.
Well, speaking of that, any other gay thoughts you'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
It's time to talk about Matthew. Where would
Ugh.
Matthew Lillard fit into this film?
Okay. Controversial, but I think he would make a fun pharmacist.
Mm.
That would have been fun. I don't
Okay,
want him to
like-
be there, but I think he would
No,
have
like
done a great job.
it would have been icky, but it would have been good. Because I don't want
Yeah.
him to
Icky.
be like Henry Bauer's dad, and I don't want him
Yeah.
to be
No.
Bev's dad.
No.
So
He could be
like,
He could be one
Pennywise.
of he could be Henry Bowers if we're doing teenage Matthew Lillard, but again, we're always so on that beat that it's like I kind of want to think around it, which is why it's like also obviously he could kill Pennywise, but it's like is that where we put him?
He could kill Pennywise. I don't know.
he would have been a good Richie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been a great Richie. That was my immediate thought, was that he would slay in that regard. But, I wouldn't. You can't pry Finn Wolfhard from my cold dead hands. I love that kid. He's so
Yeah.
fucking funny. He's
It would
so
be
good in
fun.
this.
It would be fun to have him as the children's TV show host that is just like on the TV being like, come
Yeah.
play in the sewers. It's so fun to play in the sewers.
Don't
All
you
the
love it,
kids love to come float in the sewers. You'll come float with us down here in the sewers.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. He would do a great job.
And I'd love to see him just like pop up in a little way like that. Like that would be a fun cameo.
Yeah, that would have been a really nice placement for him. Okay, are we ready for our next? It's time for the dumb bitch.
Mm.
It's hard.
I
Um,
All
I
of
think
the
it's-
adults in the town of Derry. My God.
that's a
Yeah.
good one.
Why are they so abusive? Why are they such pieces of shit?
It's hard because they're all really bad, but Bev's dad is my least favorite.
Yeah. Henry
I also
Bauer's
wanna
dad I also
nominate-
don't like either.
Yeah. Did you say Bill's dad? What did you say?
Henry Bauer's dad.
Oh yeah, him.
Ugh.
And he's a cop.
Yeah. I don't like Patrick or Henry either. And we see so much like active violence from like they're trying to like hit Mike with their car also. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's so much that they're doing
They're
that
literally trying to do murders.
yeah, like it pisses me off. And so I do think that they are dumb bitches, but when you consider the behavior of all of the adults in the town on a macro level versus like everything that we see with our own eyes in the movie, it is hard to ignore that nomination.
Yeah, it's hard because I would say like Henry outright, but like we can understand the cycle of violence, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that it should be perpetuated. That boy needs therapy.
Unrelated, can I just say a rock fight is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's
That
a great
seems like
way
the
to
worst
kill
possible thing
someone
that could be.
dead.
Yes, that was dumb
Yeah,
bitch
that is
behavior
so
of all of those
gnarly.
children to engage in.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to throw a rock to get him away from Mike, I think it was in that scene. Like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
But then for
But
them
to
all to
keep
just
Mike
be
just
like,
has to
going.
be
fight, like,
murdered.
you guys are, somebody's gonna die.
It was almost Henry. Luckily, it was the losers who were winning because they showed restraint and don't have a fucking like murderous bone in their body. Meanwhile, Henry, if he had the upper hand, he would have fucking beat them to the pulp. Yeah.
One thing I
Sad.
don't know how I feel about sometimes in this movie is that Bev is the one that gets taken because it feels so like the only girl in the group is the damsel in distress. But I do feel it's offset enough by her being the one to jump off the cliff into the water first, the one to throw the stone at the bullies first. Like, I think they give her enough hero moments that it doesn't feel like she's a damsel in distress, but it is still an interesting storytelling choice to me.
I agree with you. It May I remind you that this was written by Stephen King, so we
Yeah.
can't expect much more than
And in
that.
the 80s as well.
God love him. He's got brilliant ideas, but he writes women like he writes a trash can. Like it's just not very good. Um,
He's
but
a
I
man and he's
also
interested
think,
in men's stories, I think, primarily.
yeah,
And that's allowed.
he yeah, he tries to write from women's perspective sometimes. Like Carrie is great, but Carrie is an epistolary novel and it's not written like really from her perspective. I mean, part it is in part, but it's
I think that there's also a lot of horrible stuff in there too, right?
oh yeah. But it's also like because it's epistolary, it's also like news articles and other things
Mm.
and interviews. That's what epistolary novel means. It means that it's like other media like around the
Crafted together.
story that is put into it. And so it takes some of the focus off of his writing a woman. Um but anyway, I also think that like some of that is negated by the fact that Beverly has conquered her fear. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that it is a fault. Hear me out. I don't think this is a fault necessarily on Stephen King and on the writing and on the story, but it's a fault on Pennywise. Thinking that he can go for the woman because she's weaker than the others. I'm using scare quotes. You can't see it if you're not watching this on YouTube. But like he takes Beverly and thinks that he could get her easiest, but he actually chose the worst possible person because she's the only person that has conquered her fear because just seconds before she killed her dad. And that
Yeah.
was her
Yeah.
fear. You know, her fear was her father. And so she has conquered that. And so that is why she isn't killed because and they say that explicitly in the movie, but like she can't die because fear is so important. So she's like, I'm not afraid of you. And she really isn't. She's not
Yeah.
afraid of him.
She's like,
But
I've
like she
just killed my daddy. Come at me, bitch.
What worse could
exactly.
you do? Yeah. It also makes sense why she would be like left unconscious on the ground and he would just like move on as opposed to bringing her with him or finishing the job or whatever, because it's not that he like kidnaps her and then we next see her floating. It's like we see her wake up in the sewers and then have the confrontation with him. So
Because again, like he feeds off of the fear. And so like he's not just going to eat her when she's unconscious. He needs to fucking terrify her so he can siphon off that fear and then also eat her physically because he does that a little bit. But like if you look up in the sky where all of those kids are floating and you'll float too, like their bodies are all still there. It's really the fear that he said. I feel like that's his main source of food. Like he obviously has taken some chomps out of some of these motherfuckers, but like
It's
I think
like what
his
is it? Monsters Inc., where they have to go in and
the
like
screams.
collect screams and fear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Has Pennywise tried joy and laughter?
Has he even thought about being a
Has he
stand-up
even
comedian?
maybe
You'd think as a
tried it?
clown
Thought
it
about
would come
that?
naturally, but
Wow. Great point, Sydney.
yeah. Another movie comparison that I think is interesting just before we wrap up is like I think we had the conversation during Smile of like do we want the monster to be beatable in Smile and what is a satisfying way to do that? And it doesn't happen in that movie, but we talked about the sort of like it's my mind and I can take the power back because it's my mind, and how that is an avenue that like could have been the route that they went. And so I think for them here to conquer the fear is I is a way that makes sense and feels powerful and feels doable for Pennywise to be a creature that can be defeated. And I also think as much as Stephen King does a lot of fuck shit, he does love sometimes to have a sort of like upward swing to a degree.
Yeah.
So I like
Agreed.
that. I like that aspect of this movie as opposed to Smile, where it's like you're gonna get crushed regardless.
Yeah, because like if it was a physical fight, even if it's 6 kids coming up against him, like coming up against it, I'm sorry, Pennywise, like you they're still gonna get fucking murked because
Yeah.
like sorry if you don't know, like Pennywise is actually like a big nasty fucking scary spider thing with pincers and shit, and like, I hate that that's what it ends up being. I hate that so much. But like that can rip a kid apart. It's got 8
Yeah.
legs. It can rip a kid apart, you
Yeah.
know? It can rip 6 kids apart. Like it would be fine. But I love that. I think it's more interesting as a story that it's not brute force, that it's about fear. And I like that with when they have the courage of the group that they can fight it and kill it. I don't know. It's nice. It's sweet in the midst of all of the horrific fucking shit. Anyway, is it time for knives out of fives?
Knives out of fives.
Let's go.
On IMDb, this movie has a 7.3 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has 85% fresh from critics and 84% fresh from audiences. And it really ran a lot of the awards circuit. Just some highlights for you. At the 2018 Critics' Choice Awards, it was nominated for Best Sci-Fi/Horror Movie. At the 2018 MTV Movie and TV Awards, it was nominated for Movie of the Year, Best Villain for Bill Skarsgård, and Most Frightened Performance for Sophia Lillis, and it won Best On-Screen Team for the whole crew, which is Finn Wolfhard, Sophia
Cute.
Lillis, Jaden Martell, Jack Dylan Grazer, Wyatt Oleff, Jeremy Ray Taylor, and Chosen Jacobs. And at the 2018
I love
Teen
that
Choice
his name
Awards,
is Chosen.
I know, it's
Yeah.
really sweet. At the 2018 Teen Choice Awards, it was also nominated for Choice Movie Breakout Star for Sophia Lillis, Choice Movie Ship for Sophia Lillis and Jeremy Ray Taylor. So
You
they
mean for
were
Richie and Eddie? Yeah.
Yeah.
they were Ben and Bev fans though, which I think is nice. And Choice Movie Villain Bill Skarsgård. And IMDb and the trivia also noted at whatever time that somebody added this piece of trivia, don't know if it's still true today. But at that time, this film was the highest grossing Stephen King adaptation to date. So
Wow.
it
That's
performed
crazy.
well. Which is crazy that they didn't go in planning for sure to be able to do a chapter 2. They had to wait to see how this did, but clearly it did well enough.
I love this movie. I love it. Do you want to go first, Sydney, or do you want to go last? What do you want to do? You're the birthday girl. You get to choose.
I'll go first. Um, Objectively, this is a better movie than the 1990 miniseries. It just is. Alas, that one's always going to be my girl. So
Fair.
realistically, I know I probably give that one a 5 out of 5 because I'm a diehard 1990 it girly. This one still fucks. Like, this one is so good. Again, it is objectively a better movie. Uh, but I can't give it a 5 because I will watch the 90s one again and I won't watch this one as often. Um,
You didn't give that one a 5.
what did I give it?
You gave it a 4.
That's shocking.
Well, I take that back. I want to update it. Give that one
Okay,
a 5.
I'll put corrected to 5.
Yeah, because I watched that one again. I watched the 90s one while watching this one over the weekend. And so this one I'll give a 4.5.
Okay.
Do you want to go, Chelsea?
If you want me to go.
What
Okay,
vibe
I'll
are you?
go.
Are you feeling a positive vibe or a negative vibe?
I'll let you
That's
end
why-
on a higher note than me.
Okay, yeah.
I don't dislike this movie. But I just am like not that into it necessarily. I do think it's like objectively good. And as I was watching today, I like got into it eventually, but it took me a long time and I kept being like, this movie's so long and like I don't want to watch this right now. And it's not really to my tastes necessarily. Um, but we got there in the end, and I do think there's a world in which one day I see it under the ideal circumstances and I'm like truly locked in. But until then, like I said, I do think it is good. It's just not necessarily like a close movie for me. So I'm gonna give it like a 4.2 knives out of fives.
Oh, that's still really nice. Okay. I love this movie. I don't what did I give it? The other one.
You gave it something 3 something, and I gave it like a solid 3, I think. But let me pull it back up. Yeah, you
Gosh,
gave
I
it a
used to be
3.85, and I gave it a 3. And I think it was one of those things where it was like, this is a lovable movie, but objectively not that good.
Okay, fair. I think that I don't know. This movie was so influential to me. I really like fell in love with it at the time, and watching it in theaters was like such a like important moment for me because I snuck into that movie, one, and two, it soothed my soul after Mother, which is like really huge.
It's so
Mhm.
important, actually.
That's how much I hated that movie.
Healing.
I needed that. And because I hated that one so much, I loved this one like in kind. Like I loved it this like 5 times more probably than I would have because it was so much better in contrast to Mother for me. But honestly, I just think this movie is carried completely by the all-star fucking kids that they had in this. I think that they're all majorly talented and they've all gone on to like really do really cool stuff, which makes me really happy because I think they're great in this. It's just very, very sweet. And some of them have gone on to be like little indie darlings too, like Jack Grazer did Shazam, yeah, but he's also done some other really fucking cool shit too. And we already talked about Will or Finn, sorry, not Will. Who's Will? I don't know, made him up. And Wyatt did some cool stuff too. Jaden has become a little scream king in his own right, doing some fuck shit, such as oh, what's the one that we did?
The
winter
Lodge.
one? The Lodge. Oh, ugh. Very fucked up.
He was
And
also in
Sophia-
Knives Out, but no,
Yeah.
that's the one we did. Yeah.
But we did The Lodge too.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. No, I was thinking, was he in the sequel to Knives Out? And then I was like, no, he was in the first one, which we covered.
Anyway, I just think that this is a
Oh, he's
really
in Y2K.
I just
Oh,
I think
yeah.
there's so many movies these days where you just don't care about the cast because they don't give you enough to care. They're like, you'll just care, right? Like this
That's
movie really
the protagonist, so you'll care.
So
I'm
you
sure.
care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
Mhm.
no, 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 no. This isn't Good Boy. I'm not seeing a dog, and so I immediately love it. Like, you need to make me care. And so they did a really good job on this. And it's too bad the second one couldn't hit that mark. It's really too bad because it had such an incredible cast. But this one, I can live in this world forever. And I will. I'll watch it again a million times. So I'll give this one like a 4.6. And that's only because I wish it was practical instead of CGI because I don't find CGI to be as scary in a lot of ways.
CGI at the walls here.
Yeah. And also, I just really don't like that part where with Eddie's where there's like a big triangle of balloons. I never understood why there was a big triangle of balloons and I thought it was stupid and I thought it looked stupid and yeah,
Triangles
they
are
all went pop pop
scary.
pop pop pop,
Duh.
but I was like, why is there a big triangle of balloons? And it pissed me off. That's it. That's the end. But it's not the end of Sydney Palooza Presents Clowntober 2's weeks, is it,
Tuesday
Sydney?
week, no. And so next week, we did it chapter 1. Some people would think, oh, they're going to do it chapter 2. We told you at the beginning, we're not fucking doing that.
We're different.
Different
Like-
We're not like
sequel.
other girls.
Yeah, we're not like other girls. But you know what we did for my birthday last year?
Ugh.
This is Sydney birthday sequel 2's weeks as well.
Exactly. It's a theme within a theme within a theme. We did Terrifier. And you know what has a sequel? Terrifier. And
What's it
Apparently-
called, Sydney?
Terrifier 2.
I'm so excited.
I'm very interested to see how Chelsea reacts to this movie.
I hear it's more of a movie than the first one.
It's way more than a movie. It's got like an actual plot.
And like
Um,
lore, right?
Some
I've
would
only
say
seen
too
it
much.
once. Monica and I watched it after a,
A traumatic
event at Outback Steakhouse.
A truly traumatic event.
And Monica fell asleep halfway through, and I was
'Cause I
flavor
got
blasted. So we'll see.
I got
I'm
too flavor
excited.
blasted, so I passed out.
Yeah. I was barely holding on. But people like this one a lot more than the first one. I liked the third one too. I saw that fully conscious. So I'm very excited to see the second one.
I'm excited to see it with both my eyes open for the entire time. That will be really interesting. And also, I hope that I like it more when I've seen the whole thing. But it's going to be interesting. I'm sure we're going to have a shit ton to talk about because they really go from like 0 to 40,000, 100 million, billion, trillion. Like, it's just like a totally different type of movie starring the same titular clown. So, not that his name is Terrifier, so never
Art.
mind. It's
It's
not
Art.
a titular clown. Yeah, it's not a titular clown. I'm
He
sorry.
is the Terrifier, but
His name isn't Terrifier. It's
Yeah.
Art. Okay. But anyway, it's always fun to see Damien Leone's practical effects. So this will scratch my practical effects itch that I have left over from it. So thank you. This is going to be delicious and disgusting because they always are. But anyway, aren't you so excited that we're celebrating Sydney's birthday? I feel like it's
Yay.
like a really nice, sexy time for you to pop on over to our Apple podcast and just give a 5-star review and say, God, Sydney, you're so sexy. Thanks for making these girls talk about clowns. I
Thanks
love
for
that.
being born, Sydney. Oh, you're so welcome.
Stop,
Thanks
girl.
for being born. I love that you love clowns this much. I don't think it's weird and I think it's really cool and I think it's
it's
hot
great.
and fun.
It's
I think it's
totally
great.
normal. Hot people love clowns.
Uh-huh. As a girl who's dressed as a clown right now, I've never felt hotter. So thank you, Sydney, for giving me the opportunity.
You're welcome.
And for the opportunity to trial run my Halloween costume makeup. So that's actually
most
is
important.
really crucial because I did not slay it this time around. But anyway, we also will accept a 5-star 5-star rating, not reaction, on Spotify. So do that if you're not feeling very verbose. And also
Give our
follow.
YouTube a thumbs up. Thumbs
Yeah.
up that video.
Thumbs
Come
up our
chat
video
with
on YouTube.
us.
We'll do YouTube first. We got a YouTube channel and it's beautiful. And today we've got Pennywise, the dancing clown, here with you today.
Gorgeous.
We have a birthday girl with many secret clowns around. It's a little Easter egg. How many
And some
clowns are
little
in the
puffs of red.
screen? And we also have the man,
I'm
the
Richie
myth,
Tozier.
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
always
I'm
thought
so silly funny.
this is actually something really interesting. It's breaking news. This season 666, Chelsea is gonna wear that wig every episode.
I thought about that. I was like, this could be Wigtober.
Every
Wig.
episode, you will see her in this wig, and she's gonna make it relevant every single time.
Every
It's gonna
single time.
be
I'm
crazy.
gonna find different. You're never gonna see my pink hair again.
That's so funny. Anyway, you should also follow us on social media. We're at spooky_Tuesday on everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we're at Spooky Tuesday Pod. Check out our website, spookytuesdaypod.com, and it has all of our beautiful episodes we've ever done, 257 of them. It's crazy. We also have brand spanking new art for this season 666, by our beautiful patron and friend Ryan Brom. So check that out. And we are also, speaking of patrons, on Patreon. And we're having an extra spooky time this October. Check us out. We're patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday. And you just will join a beautiful community of lovely friends. It is wonderful. We're sharing our Halloween costumes. We're sharing our Halloween decorations. We're watching movies together. We're having a great time. So we'd love for you to join us. And I already talked about YouTube. So I have to say, at the end of the day, thank you for listening. Thank you for being born, Sydney.
Yay,
And
Sydney.
we will see
Yay.
you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.